Well, we get to say thank you to our studio audience for joining us today on DelMarva Life. Now, if you'd like to find out how you can become a member of our studio audience, all you have to do is visit DelMarvaLife.com and click on the show tab or call the number right there on your screen, 443-880-9116. I am so privileged to be sitting right here. He is a WBOC icon, traveling the peninsula in search of those stories that touch our hearts and provoke our minds. He is none other than our very own Travels with Charlie, Charlie Paparella.
Thank you, James.
I cannot tell you how awesome it is to be here with you, traveling the peninsula with your reports, your music, and you, my friend, as I sit at my desk, frequently get to listen to you on your guitar and your banjo, and I remain in awe of you.
Well, I appreciate you not telling people that sometimes I just sit around and play the banjo or the guitar too. But the secret's out now, isn't it? It really is. It's an honor to be here. This is such a wonderful program. I'm delighted that you all asked me to join you this afternoon and to visit with everybody. And we've got a wonderful studio audience. And actually, this came out from a conversation we had one time where you told me that you actually owned a banjo. For how long?
Charlie, I've had this banjo for like 20 years.
I see.
And in fact, it was a gift from my lovely wife. And I have always had this passion for a banjo. I've always wanted to play the banjo.
And how is that going?
Not very well.
Okay.
No. And well, here's the thing. Every time I would sit down in my office to try to make sure that I took time to practice, life would get in the way, something would happen, somebody would come in, and I had to do something.
See, that's the problem right
What?
there. Is you're married.
Yes.
So that means you're really not allowed to sit down until about 10:30, maybe 10 o'clock, you know, if you've done something worthwhile. And you know, what we need to do, you see, for a banjo player to get away with playing the banjo, you can't be sitting in a room somewhere. You're not allowed to do that.
Oh, okay.
What you want to do is you need to stand up. So we have, see, God gave us straps so we can stand up, you know.
Right.
And so we'll move our chairs.
Get that out.
Now you see, you are actually a part of the universe again. You can walk around. Can you follow us while we do this? And what you do is you just walk around and visit with your family, you see, picking your banjo, and just, hello, how are you today? And you know, if your wife's in the kitchen, you go in there and you see what's going on in the kitchen, you know, and you just keep on picking and grinning, and you're not locked away in a room somewhere. You see, that's the thing. Are we in the dark now?
Yes, we are. I think
all
we
right, we'll get out of the darkness.
So, well, why?
Now, why that makes a difference?
Why does that make sense? Why does that work?
Well, just try going in your office and shutting the door and sitting there doing nothing. How long is that going to last?
Not very.
No, you see, what you have to do is be a part of the family.
Okay.
That never changes. Now, it doesn't really, like a lot of times Miss Becky be out in the yard there with a post hole digger, you know, and I'll be up there going, wow, that's really good, hon, that's wonderful, look at that hole coming along. And you make up a song as you go along, like for example, digging a hole in the yard, digging a hole in the yard. Boy, that sure looks hard, honey, digging a hole in the yard. You see, you're part of the situation. You see.
Right.
You have to remain, thank you very much. You have to always and everywhere remain part of your family life. And they'll put up with the banjo. And the bottom line is, James, you know and I know that you are just as useful with a handful of banjo as you are without one.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Sadly, that's true.
Because you really ain't that useful to begin with.
No, not at all.
No.
So I'm just glad to.
Now, the other thing is, this is God's gift to musicians. This is an electronic tuner. If you ever bought your kid an instrument, like in the case of your wife buying you one.
Bought a kid the instrument.
And it didn't happen, you see, you might not, an electronic tuner will let you at least get started to where when you play an open chord, it actually sounds like it's supposed to.
Okay.
When you're tuning it by ear, that's not very likely. It's almost impossible for a novice to get an instrument tuned properly, so they're kind of ruined at the get-go, you see. Now, the other thing is what you're playing. Now, the banjo is a great instrument because it does not have what I call the kumbaya effect. The kumbaya effect is when you take out a guitar, right? People will run for the hills. It's called the kumbaya effect, you see.
Okay.
They know you're going to play a folk song.
Right.
And they don't want to hear it.
They just scatter.
They don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
For some reason, they're not as anti-banjo. You know, their curiosity is piqued by a banjo.
Not as discriminatory.
No, it's open. It's open. Anybody can play the banjo. It's good. It's a truly American instrument.
It is.
So it really is. Now, the other thing is there are hundreds, thousands of excellent banjo players on DelMarva. I am not one of those. Okay,
That
those
is
are people who can really just pick away like crazy. That's not why I use that's not what I use the banjo for.
But you play it so well. Why do you?
Well, compared to them, I don't. You know, I can play the banjo like that, you know, but they can go. Blah, 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 blah. It's called NASCAR banjo playing. I don't feel any need to set any speed records with the banjo.
So what do you do with it?
Good choice. Thank you for asking that very important
seemed like
question.
timing.
I use the banjo to get people to sing, and we happen to have people here, and we have Arianna.
Yes, we do.
Would you please come here, dear? Because Arianna.
Poor Charlie has been struggling with
She
Arianna
has been trying
all day
to
long.
teach me that name. Come ahead. Now, a few minutes ago, we had, was it, you go right up here, because that way you can be almost as tall as James.
Almost. You just step right up.
Can you stand on here?
Stand up here. Yeah, up there.
Yes, we'll
There
give
go.
you a
Got it?
hand.
Okay, good. Good.
All right, one more.
Look at her.
You are so beautiful. Look at you. Now, a few. What a gal. No, when we met in the lobby, I said, what an amazing child. But what's germane to the conversation is that she is the daughter of the two for the Fox family who spoke earlier about marriage.
Right.
And I think when you have something, and is it time, or am I getting a little note
Yeah,
here
we're running
from
out
her?
of time here.
All right, will you help me sing this one song? I know you know this one. And everybody join in. This old man, he played one. He played knick-knack on my thumb with a knick-knack paddywhack. Give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. Arianna, do you know what comes next in that song? After one?
No. I think it's 2. I thought Daddy and Mommy just told me that part.
Okay,
Oh,
I
well,
think
it's the
what
important
comes
part.
after one, though?
I think it's 2.
Thank you.
You
This
continue with
old
that,
man, he
and we'll
played
continue
two.
with this. There's
He
a look at
played
what's coming up in the news on
knick-knack
First and 5 on Fox
my
21, and later on
shoe.
WBOC News at 6 and 7 in high definition. You go,
This
girl.
old man came rolling